Today is Monday, August 9th, and this is Jury Duty, a Big Brother podcast. I am Kyle Petty, and I'm joined by Gina Morgino and John Dunphy, and we are going to recap all of the events going into, what is this now, week 5?
Somehow.
There's actually not as much to talk about. We know that Derek X won Head of Household because we watched that live on the feeds last time. We do know who his initial nominations are, but we'll wait to get there naturally. So first, I don't know. Where do we start here? There's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff going on, and I honestly don't know where to begin. I guess we can start with Whitney. You know, she left 10-0. And honestly, weird place to start because who cares now? There's so much else going on. Well, so let's just get into it. Derek X's HOH. Something I loved. Happy to see it. What did you guys think?
It's exactly what I wanted.
No, I'm very happy for Derek X. Very happy. And it was interesting because obviously the last time we recorded, we got to watch like the competition play out on the live feeds. So we were watching the competition, but it was not until Sunday's episode last night where we really got to see the deals that were being made by them up on the wall, and where we even got to see what some of them were saying about the competition, like in their DRs. So, like, just for example, like there was a point during the competition where we heard Derek X say, when you're in this game, you have to think about, do I make the big move first, or do I let another person take, make a big move? So I think once I saw him say that in his DR, like as we were watching the competition in the Sunday episode, last night, I was like, okay, this is going to be an interesting week. This is good because we knew already at that point he hadn't won the competition in that episode, but we knew he won from the feeds. So to hear him talking about should I make a big move, knowing that he was about to win this competition, I was like, okay, this is going to get good.
Oh yeah, and get good did it because we have to. I have to mention that whole Xavier thing because that was some bullshit. Okay, like you made a deal on the wall, fine, all well and good. Like I'm here for it, but then you want to like once everything is said and done, and now we're congratulating Derek. Now we want to come over to my yo, 3 other people are saying too.
This is what I said, but this is what I meant, and you're gonna have to be okay with that.
You're just gonna have to be okay with it because I already dropped, so you just have to accept it. Right. I was like, Xavier.
Yeah, that's how this works.
Right. Yeah, really trying it. Really trying it.
I think that really speaks to like the dynamic of this game and how interesting it's been and how crazy it is too. The fact that Xavier, it's weird because he was just told he would be safe, and then he felt the need to come over and say, "But the Kings are safe too. Like my team is safe too." And then I think to myself, well, that's a lot of people to like try to keep safe Xavier. And then I think to myself, but those people are all the Kings who are in the Royal Flush, which Derek X is in. So, like, it's just everything is so like twisted up and tangled that it's just
I know
out of control.
It was interesting what you had brought up too, like in the group chat that like Xavier was like going so hard to be like, all right, the Kings can't go up, like stay loyal to the Royal Flush, but like the alternative then means that he has to target the cookout. So it's by like making sure that one of your alliances is safe, you're kind of throwing your other one under the bus indirectly.
Yes, you are.
You know?
God, it's so wild, especially when you consider like that there's a bunch of members of the cookout that are in the Royal Flush. It's like it's like the cookout really feels like the dominant alliance to me. But right now, Derek X is HOH, so you have Xavier going to him talking about, oh, you got to protect the Royal Flush. You got to protect the Royal Flush. It's so wild.
I'm not so sure, y'all. I think the cookouts are kind of a mess and just nobody's talking about it. I think nobody's talking about it, okay? Because there's a lot of, like, little cracks that are starting to pop up. And I'm not so sure that I think we're going to see some cracks in the cookout and we're going to see some dissolution there before we really see a full dissolve of the Royal Flush. Because there might be some people who still want to try and rock out a little bit. Depending on how these things go, because unfortunately,
Yeah.
unfortunately, I know who wins veto. I now know who's up, and that does make this a little bit more difficult. Because based on what I saw, okay. I'm getting so excited.
I know. I'm like, I'm just excited that someone else knows about it now.
I know. I hate that.
It's
I
usually
know
just
because because I would change what I'm saying right now based on what I now know, and like, ugh. Okay. So let's talk about the things that we do know.
Yes.
Yes, we know.
I think that we've got some issues in the cookout. Mainly because there's some fractures coming up, and I think that Tiffany's flarn is going to be a really, really big part of the problem with this, because Hannah's smart. Okay, Hannah's really, really smart, and I don't know that you're ever going to get her to trust Tiffany quite in the same way after all of this. They were looking so final two-y, and then this happened, and I don't know.
It was messy too, because like that conversation on the feeds, it's not like Tiffany just slipped up and said the royal flush one time. She said it like 6 times in that conversation.
Oh, so it was more than the edit showed us.
Wow.
Oh yeah, no, she was like openly talking about it as if Hannah was a part of the alliance, and she was just sitting there like, oh okay, yeah, that alliance I'm aware of. Sure.
Ooh. And the fact that Tiffany tried to act like it wasn't her, like she really had no, and that's even worse now, knowing that she did it that many times.
Yeah.
Because we only thought it happened once.
Throw down with Derek X too. She was like, "Who said it? Derek? I'll kill him." And she was like, "No, that was you."
Who said it?
Yeah.
It was you. Oh, it was me. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just keep eating my kicks with berries.
And this actually, like, this happening here kind of like made me think of something that we were talking about, all three of us, not too long ago, about Tiffany. She's making all these moves and she's been playing a really good game, but we all kind of said she was at danger of like overplaying the game. And I think this is an example of it. Like I feel like, Kyle, you were just saying her and Hannah seemed very final two-ish, right? Like and they talked about that and they were very, very close. Mm-hmm. And then here it is, Tiffany drops this alliance that Hannah doesn't know about right in front of her. It's like, okay, you're clearly getting a little sloppy here.
You're getting sloppy because like you've got too many things going on.
Yeah.
You get too many
moves, but
too many for your own good.
Like again, she's got this whole rest of the season like planned down to the last detail, but it's like you have to, in order to plan as much as she has planned, you have to be really on top of everything. Like there's no room for like your mind faltering for even a second, because then this is what happens.
Yeah.
Especially now that like Hannah has said in her DR, like, well, I'm just gonna like pocket that for now. We're going to use this later.
Right, because it's an issue. It kind of says that you're like the lowest person on the totem pole. It's one thing for you to not be in it. I think it's completely different to not even know about it. To have the relationship that I think she perceives to have with DX, and then the relationship that she perceives to have with Miss Tiffany. And now you find out they're both in an alliance that nobody even told you about. Especially when you take it a little bit further, when you know that the reason why they're called the Royal Flush is because there's kings, queens, and one ace. Okay, and you were the ace, not selected. Not selected.
Yeah, at this point, she's the only ace left.
We could have chosen anyone, and we went without you.
Yeah. Can I ask? Does Derek actually know at all about the cookout? Does he know? No. Okay.
The only people who know about the cookout are the people in it.
Right. Okay. That's what I thought, and I was just wondering because I did think it was interesting. Like Derek X and Hannah, very, very close, obviously, both on the aces, right? When the team twist was a thing. But I just thought it was interesting because Hannah seemed upset to not know about the royal flush, and I do think she has legitimate beef with Tiffany with how close they were. But I feel like with Derek X, it's like, how can you really be angry with Derek X about the royal flush when you're in the cookout and he doesn't know about that? So, you know what I mean? Like, I do kind of feel like,
okay.
So,
to be fair, to Hannah's knowledge, she's been in the cookout for like 10 minutes. You know, like.
True, but
Well, has she? Doesn't Hannah think she was in it? And we are the ones who knew
like,
she
I mean,
wasn't.
it was like a mutual understanding of like, hey, we're all good, right? Oh yeah. And then all of a sudden, people started saying the cookout, and she was like, oh, this is like a real thing. But that just happened like what, last week?
See, I thought she sort of knew that she was in it, and I thought that she thought she was in it, but we knew as viewers that she was not.
No. Right. They had like a mutual understanding of like, oh, we're just not going to put each other up. But she didn't know there was an official alliance that was working together and trying to get each other farther. It was just like,
no, you said that. You did say that. You said, oh, that's what we're calling ourselves, cute.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
I know.
okay,
Azza slipped up, and then she was like, oh my god, I ruined the cookout. And everyone was like, oh, we don't care.
We don't care.
Right.
She was always
okay. So she didn't know necessarily that there was a group with like this official name, but there was definitely a group of people that she was working with outside of Derek X and her team that like he was not aware of. Mm-hmm. So I feel like I don't think she really has like any legit like beef with Derek X. I think they have to kind of call that a wash. Like they're people that are working together that have been branching out.
Yeah, no, I don't think
Tiffany,
she has. No.
Yeah. So just curious to see, because that seems like it's a big. Hannah, I don't think she's going to forget about that anytime soon.
Oh no!
No! And honestly, I think she'd have a problem if she did. I don't think that should be forgotten. That's a red flag.
Yeah.
You guys had said before, well, not you guys, but John did, that you were kind of finding Sarah Beth to be annoying.
Yeah.
What do you think now? What do you think of SB now?
She was clearly trying to do some damage control in this episode, going to Hannah, and she's doing what she has to. But I was not at all surprised to see her land up on the block at the end of the episode. I mean, she was being so vocal about Hannah, and like I get it that like she's threatened by her, but you got to know after the week that she just had, any amount of damage control that you try to do, like. It seemed to me like it didn't seem genuine to me totally. Her, kind of going to Hannah and trying to smooth things over. It seemed like it was just like I'm trying to clean up the mess I made after last week because you're number one person.
It absolutely was. It absolutely was. And if Hannah has any kind of sense behind her, which we know she does, then she knows it. She knows it. I'm starting to stand Hannah. I know I slammed her a little bit in the beginning, but I'm here for her. She is a bit
of a fan favorite.
I'm here for her, but I'm also still here for Sarah Beth now. Okay, we are not knocking Sarah Beth. I think she's playing a smart game.
The only thing is, like, had anyone other than Derek X won this week, Sarah Beth was the target. You know?
Right.
So it is a little wild to me that even from what I was seeing on feeds, like they had that conversation of like, would you be willing to go up as a pawn? And she said no. But aside from that, she had no indication that she was going up at all. She was totally shocked to see her picture show up on the wall. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't really know how you're surprised because you had to know that people were going to be comparing notes and coming for you after last week.
Right. And even if they weren't going to be comparing notes or anything, you got to also realize that even though the team twist is over, people are still talking about teams far too much. And you are still part of a 4-person group. Okay. That has not been broken. So like it had to be one of you guys. Yeah. Somebody had to be like the target. Sorry. Yeah. I'm surprised we didn't see 2 kings go up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was really wondering what Derek X was going to end up, because we talked about him going the easy way, which was putting up 2 jokers and then maybe trying to do his backdoor thing, or doing 1 joker and a king. But I just listen, the Kings, they got through the first 4 weeks of this game completely unscathed. I think any sort of like annoyance with like one of your former teammates now, one of their former teammates going on the block, I just it's got to happen eventually. And Sarah Beth she put a target on herself, so sorry.
And I guess if you had to choose one of the Kings, why not her? She's smart, she doesn't win. I guess that's the safest one to go with. I think it was absolutely the right decision not to put Christian up. And I will say that he's still Bay, but he's falling in my opinion. He's falling.
Ooh, okay.
It's dangerous to allow him to compete in the veto.
Right.
It is.
It'll be interesting to see if he ends up playing in it anyway.
Right.
Well, You guys already know the answer to that, I guess.
So we got Sarah Beth on the block, right? I like her, but I'm happy to see it. I'm happy to see it. I like to see what she does. But Brittany on the block, I love it.
I gotta be so honest with you. I don't know what happened to Brittany this week, but like we've seen on the block Brittany twice at this point, and it's been rough. It's been a mess for whatever reason. Brittany this week, like switch flipped, and she like really got it together. She's been gaming so well.
Really?
And she's been like, she knows that she's not the target. She's lying to people, scheming with people. Like, she's doing a really great job.
Also, all of a sudden, she's playing.
Yeah, I'm like, I've been watching on the feeds. Like, what has happened to you?
Okay, welcome to the game, Miss Brittany. Welcome to the game. So I'm hoping that then I guess we're going to see some of that stuff on Wednesday.
I really hope we do. Like, there was even a moment, like, not to get too much into what we haven't seen yet, but Christian was not happy with nominations. He was like, you put up Sarah Beth, nobody's had Brittany's name in their mouth. Like, what is going on? And he was talking to Brittany because he and Brittany kind of have this weird, like, sort of final two deal, but it's one of those things where, like, it's one of those things where I don't know if it's real or not, but, like, they've been talking about it for
Christian and Brittany.
Yeah. Which it's very, very interesting.
Where's the why have you not told us? Caption it.
I don't know if it's real. I'm very confused by it.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay.
Christian
all right.
was pissed to see her on the block. And there was like this whole moment after nominations where he's like, literally nobody had your name in their mouths. How did you end up here? What's going on? And she was like, I don't know. It's so crazy. Like, I feel like I heard Kylan kind of name dropping me a little bit, but I have no idea what's going on. And he was like, you don't know like anything about a plan of like what's to come. And she was like, no, I have no idea. Like, this totally blindsided me. He hasn't said anything to me about going up. And then Christian left and she's looking at the camera, like doing TikTok dances, like, and it's like, oh my God, did Brittany just manipulate somebody?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Wow.
And I really like what I'm seeing from her this week.
I wonder if this is what we would have seen from Brittany all along if they didn't all get thrown into the team twist. Like maybe this is what her game would have been like, and the team twist changed it. I don't know. Or maybe she's just gotten more comfortable being on the house, interacting with these people, and now being on the block for the third time. So she's definitely experienced sitting in the hot seat there. I don't know.
Even just in last night's episode, we're used to when her name is thrown out there as being a pawn, or when she sees herself on the block, she cries and she flies off the handle, and it's this whole big to-do. But when Derek sat with her and was like, hey, would you be willing to go up as a pawn? She was like, I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't love it, but like, I mean, you do what you gotta do. And I was like, why are you so calm? Like, what happened to you?
No. Maybe because she finally learned that she needs to calm down a little bit so that she's not always viewed as like a target, you know?
No, I've been loving what I'm seeing from her this week. I'm really excited to see what they put into Wednesday.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, fine. Miss Brittany, go fucking figure.
It's also that like I'm still kind of trying to figure out who from the get knew about what the plan was going to be, because again, we're going to see a lot of like the one-on-ones and like the meetings that occurred post nomination ceremony on Wednesday, so I don't want to get too far into that, but depending on who Derek's talking to, his story of what his plan is different. But there are a couple of people who've kind of been like on board with everything, and they know that like the main plan here is we just want to get Christian out. Christian is getting backdoored. That's what I'm planning on doing. And I know 2 of the 3 of us know what happened with veto, but what was stressing me out pre-veto is like, it's very imperative that the veto win and ceremony goes in a way that Sarah Beth is the person that's taken down, because if it's Christian against Brittany, that seems like a pretty clear Christian goes home. But if it's Christian versus Sarah Beth, I don't know if he's going to have the numbers.
Right.
And it's
I don't know
just
what
very,
that would look like.
It's an interesting situation because so many people, even last week, were riding so hard about Sarah Beth being the target this week. So is it going to be like Derek has a swing and a miss, or, that the whole house has to get on the same page? So it's been very stressful leading up to the veto win of like, who is going to take this and how is this going to affect the rest of the week? Because he he can either have a really, really solid, successful week, or it can blow up in his face, and now he has a huge target on his back for trying to target the biggest competitor and missing.
Mm-hmm,
You know?
Right.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Oh, it's going to be thrilling. It's going to be thrilling.
I see. Here's my question, and I love Derek X. I'm just like, and I think it's a smart move to go for Christian and try to get this big target out of the house. But what scares me is that I feel like we've talked so many times this season about all the different groups and alliances that people are in, and I know so Derek X is in the Royal Flush, and I know that he is close with other people in the house, people that are members of the Cookout. But it just feels like, if you look at somebody like Xavier or Tiffany, it's like, okay, well, if they take a shot at the Royal Flush, they have the Cookout to back them up. Like, I feel like Derek X is in the Royal Flush, and he might be cool with people in the Cookout, but he's not in that alliance. And it just seems like if he's now taking a clear shot, just by putting Sarah Beth up, he's taking a clear shot.
He's really putting himself out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and
I mean, he was. Sorry.
If it goes, no. I mean, I just feel like if he's able to pull it off, right? And we see tomorrow one of the nominees comes down, Christian goes up as the replacement and goes home. I think that he can just say like, hey, like I had a great week. I had a target. I took him out. It was a big, one of the biggest threats in the game, and I think that he'd be okay. But if like we were just saying, he takes that shot and misses, I could see Derek X going home next week. I mean, depending on who gets the HOH, like this is definitely a huge risk. I'm nervous. It just feels like everybody in the house has like multiple groups, and Derek X doesn't really, even though he is pretty much cool with everybody. This is just such a big move that I'm nervous about. Like, if it doesn't work out, like what's he going to do? Is he still going to be in the Royal Flush? Like, I don't,
No, right. I absolutely agree with that too, because I feel like he doesn't have the same kind of like support or like security that other people do. Like, if you want to go after a big target like Christian or something like that, and that FLARNS, then like other people have people to like kind of like fall back on. They're like, I know that if I go up for some reason next week, then I'll probably be okay. I don't know that Derek X really has that security, because he's got Hannah, but like it doesn't necessarily mean that he has the Cookout. By going after Christian, you don't, now you can already say you don't have the Royal Flush. So like, what does he have?
It is really interesting too, because even last week in a lot of his DRs, we were seeing him saying, I'm kind of on an island in the Royal Flush, where it's like everybody has their full team in this alliance with them, and I'm just kind of like the lone person that doesn't have that. So it's like I can back up the aces who are my team that I've been working with this whole time, or I can work with the Royal Flush. And what we saw last week was that he chose the Royal Flush, who he is now turning on. So he is potentially setting himself up in a kind of a dangerous situation. Because he's like close with Kyland, he's close with Hannah, but when push comes to shove, are they going to prioritize him over their alliances? I don't know.
No, and we already know they're not. They already said as much.
Yeah.
They already said as much. Yeah, I think it's problematic.
Trust me, I want nothing more than to see DX go straight through to finale night, but I'm a little worried. Like, I'm hoping that if the backdoor plan goes according to plan and he does get Christian out as intended, that's going to be just such a strong move on his resume of like, people are going to want to make more deals with him of like, all right, well now, especially since Christian at this moment is the strongest competitor in the house. If Christian is gone, the next strongest competitor in the house is Derek.
DX. Yeah.
So are people going to want to
does he really want Christian out? Because even Hannah has said that. Hannah even said it, and that's supposed to be his ride or die. Hannah made that comment.
Xavier was saying it a lot of like, we kind of need Christian as a shield for both of us. He's kind of the one keeping us safe right now. So it is going to put a bigger target on his back potentially, but people also might want to now use him as a shield. I could see it going either way.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Goodness gracious. And you know what? I'm sorry. I know we said we weren't going to use this, but this thing from Big Brother Confessions, this person coming up here, I'm sorry. We have to just bring it up real quick. In my opinion, I really hate this new team HOH. It's not really what it is, but I think it creates already known alliances, not enough options for actual gameplay. The fact that you're on a team already takes away 3 other people, blah, blah, blah. this opinion is trash. And it's trash because, like, look how exciting this is. What are you talking about? Confession
Again,
number
like,
839. Like, get out of here.
I mean,
it's like we've said it before on this podcast. Like, we're still pre-jury.
Yes,
this is the part of the game that nobody remembers later on. And
even
Claire
is up here throwing HOH, saying, fuck it all, doesn't matter. None of this matters. And it's like, it doesn't matter. It's just too early.
This is the part of the season that nobody cares about later on. And we've seen so much gaming. I cannot believe that I've almost filled up an entire notebook pre-jury.
Yeah.
It's a stupid addition to the game. Game sucks. Get the hell out of here, 839.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, number 839.
You're a moron. You don't even deserve your Paramount Plus subscription is canceled. You are not allowed to watch CBS. Julie is not speaking to you. And that's the end of it. That's the end of it.
I think that so much of how we got here has to do with that team twist. You know what I mean? Like,
absolutely.
And it's everything to do with the team twist because it put them in 4s. Like, come on.
Right. And what were we saying? I think I asked you last night, Gina. I said Brittany is the only person in the house still, right? The only one left that is not in either Royal Flush or the Cookout, which means that now, and like, everybody is so connected that, like, other than Brittany, anyone that walks out that door is getting betrayed somehow.
Especially since there are so many people double dipping in both.
Yeah.
I'm here for all the double dipping. I'm here for all of it. I'm here for all of it. That's what really starts all the stuff. You know? If it's too straightforward, like, what a snooze. No, I like the overlapping. People have to make choices, and they have to make them now.
It's so wild to me to have seen so many people on social media saying that, like, this season's been so cut and dry. This season's really boring. Like, nothing really exciting is happening. I'm like, what season are you watching?
Yeah, what? You got your rocks off for All Stars? Get the hell out of here! Like, it's totally wrong. It's totally wrong. These people don't know what they're talking about. Idiots.
I personally was wondering, like, is it just like a live feeders versus casual viewers kind of thing where, like, if you're only watching the episodes, it's boring? But then I come here and you guys are also talking about how you're
No, I come here to get context to what I've seen.
Right.
Like, wait. I need to know more about what's going on. I can't wait to talk to Gina because she's going to have some more, and we can really expound on this. We're going to do a deep dive into, like, what's going on here. Like, I cannot imagine what people are talking about, and they're just people who don't understand the game, and therefore shouldn't even be watching.
Even past players, there are BB alumni that are on Twitter being like, "This season's a snooze fest," and I'm like, "What do you mean?"
I don't get it.
I don't either. I think after every single episode this season, I've texted you guys and been like, wow, another great episode. Because it's just, I mean, we all went into this week thinking, like, this could be boring because there's no Frenchie, there's no Brent, like, there's no clear target, right? Like, that's what we all kind of felt like going in. And this has been, like, one of the best weeks so far. I have no idea what's going on. We might get a huge backdoor. We might get even if we don't get that backdoor, we might get Sarah Beth out. She would be the first member of the Kings out. You have Hannah finding out about alliances. You have Tiffany. You have Azza. It's like every.
John, you were even saying in the chat last night, like, we are halfway through this episode, and I still have no idea who might see the block.
Yes,
there was so much happening. That it's like by the time that, like, we got halfway through the episode, we hadn't even strategized of, like, all right, what am I doing right now? Because there's been so much else to talk about and to figure out about moving past this week that we didn't know where this episode was going.
All right, so DX's final nominations are Sarah Beth and Brittany. We can't wait to see what happens. Can't wait to see who wins veto. And we'll be watching on Wednesday. And we'll check in again at the end of the week. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Share with a friend. And this has been Jury Duty, a Big Brother podcast.